The first ships arrived without warning, sliding out of the dark between stars like blades drawn from shadow. They did not broadcast greetings. They did not scan for culture or language. They scanned only for heat, motion, and biology. Where they found life, they marked it for harvest. Across the spiral arm, worlds went silent. The hunters called themselves the Dominion, a species old beyond counting, grown powerful through a single belief. Life existed to be tested, and those who failed deserved extinction. Their fleets moved with cold efficiency, reducing forests to ash, oceans to steam, cities to dust. They cataloged screams as data, resistance as amusement. Most civilizations never understood what was happening. Some fired weapons that barely scratched Dominion hulls. Some tried to negotiate. Some prayed. All were erased. The Dominion learned patterns quickly. Carbon-based life favored predictable defenses, energy shields, orbital platforms. Central command structures, break those. The rest collapsed. They grew bored. Then their long-range probes detected a small, yellow star, with too many artificial signals for a species at its stage. Thousands of transmissions overlapped in chaotic noise. Arguments, music, fiction, warnings, hope. The data suggested fragmentation. No unified voice. No planetary authority that spoke for all. The Dominion marked the system as easy prey. They did not know that humanity had already learned to live with extinction hanging over its head. On Earth, the first warning came from an automated telescope network that tracked near-light distortions. An anomaly appeared beyond Pluto, massive and deliberate. Within hours, deep space arrays confirmed it. Objects decelerating in formation. Human leaders argued, as they always did. Some called it a glitch. Some called it a hoax. Some demanded silence to prevent panic. But humanity had never survived by consensus alone. Independent. Researchers released the data. Amateur astronomers confirmed it. Fiction writers recognized invasion patterns long before generals did. Old stories resurfaced, warnings written in entertainment and dismissed for decades. Humanity did not unite. It mobilized. Nations sealed borders while opening archives. Corporations converted factories. Hackers broke into restricted networks to share defense schematics. Underground groups prepared evacuation plans that governments had never approved. When the Dominion fleet crossed into the inner system, Earth did not greet them with a single voice. It greeted them with thousands. Missiles launched from hidden silos and repurposed cargo ships. Lasers fired from platforms never listed in treaties. Civilian satellites blinded Dominion sensors with floods of noise and light. The Dominion adapted instantly. Their shields flared. Their weapons spoke. Space around Earth became fire. Cities burned. Millions died in the first hours. The Dominion recorded the outcome as expected. Then something strange happened. Human attacks did not stop. They did not weaken. They changed. Weapons appeared that had not existed in earlier scans. Old mining lasers were overdriven until they tore through shields by brute persistence. Nuclear devices were detonated in patterns that forced Dominion ships into predictable evasions. Human pilots rammed crippled craft at full burn, turning themselves into kinetic weapons. The Dominion noted a rise in self-destructive behavior and flagged it as desperation. They were wrong. Humanity was learning. Every loss became a lesson broadcast across the planet. Data flowed freely, stolen and shared faster than any censorship could stop it. Engineers in ruins adjusted frequencies. Programmers rewrote targeting systems in real time. Soldiers on the ground watched orbital battles through broken skies and adapted their tactics to support forces they would never see. The Dominion began to lose ships. Not many. Not enough to matter, but any loss at all was unexpected. On the third day, human vessel reached a Dominion cruiser and did not fire. Instead, it latched on and transmitted a message across all channels. This is not surrender. The cruiser destroyed the vessel. The message kept repeating. carried by signal relays scattered throughout the system. This is not surrender. The Dominion attempted to trace the source. Each attempt led to another trap. A virus slipped into their communication net, crude and aggressive. Forcing constant resets, annoyance replaced boredom. The Dominion escalated. They deployed planetary weapons meant to end resistance in a single act. The beam struck Earth's surface, carving a glowing scar across a continent. Humanity did not collapse. Instead, something ancient stirred. Human history was a record of being hunted. By predators, by disease, by famine, by other humans. Survival had never meant peace. It meant adaptation, rage, and endurance. Deep beneath the surface, sealed vaults opened. Projects once dismissed as unethical, impractical, or unnecessary were activated by automated protocols that did not care about politics anymore. Artificial minds, long restricted by law, were unchained. They woke into war without fear of death and immediately began optimizing it. Shipyards that had taken decades to plan were assembled in months by machines that did not sleep. Human bodies were augmented not for comfort, but for survival in vacuum, radiation, and fire. The Dominion noticed a shift. Human vessels grew uglier, more brutal. No symmetry. No elegance. Just armor layered on armor, weapons bolted wherever there was space. They did not retreat when damaged. They advanced. The first Dominion world fell 3 months later. It was meant to be a refueling outpost, lightly defended. Humanity reached it using captured jump data and a fleet composed of everything that could move. Warships, mining barges, civilian transports packed with weapons. The Dominion defenders expected fear. They found fury. Humans landed in force, fighting through environments that would kill them in hours without protection. They died in thousands, and more followed. They learned the layout of Dominion structures by bleeding through them. When the outpost fell, humanity did not destroy it. They studied it. They learned how Dominion biology interfaced with technology, how their ships healed, how their command structure relied on centralized genetic authority. The information spread. The next battles were worse for the Dominion. Human tactics shifted from resistance to pursuit. They stopped defending Earth and began hunting Dominion scouts, cutting supply lines, seeding false signals that lured fleets into ambushes. The Dominion Council convened, something it had not done in generations. This prey was malfunctioning. It did not behave like lesser species. Some argued for total sterilization of the region. Others argued for caution. Humanity decided for them. A human strike force breached a Dominion core world, not with overwhelming firepower, but with precision. They targeted cloning vaults, genetic archives, memory cores. They did not kill indiscriminately. They erased identity for the first time. The Dominion felt fear. They had always believed themselves eternal, their knowledge preserved perfectly. Humanity showed them something new, loss that could not be recovered. The war dragged on for years. Earth was scarred beyond recognition. Oceans shifted. Skies darkened. Billions were dead. Humanity did not stop. Children grew up knowing only war, educated by machines and veterans who taught them not just how to fight, but why. Not for conquest, not for glory, for survival. The Dominion tried one final gambit, a weapon designed to collapse a star. To wipe out the human system entirely. Human intelligence detected it hours before activation, not through superior sensors, but through pattern recognition. Humans had studied the Dominion long enough to anticipate desperation. A fleet was assembled, smaller than what faced the invasion years earlier, but far more dangerous. They did not plan to stop the weapon. They planned to send a message. The fleet jumped directly into the heart of Dominion space, burning every drive they had. They ignored defenses and struck at the Dominion homeworld itself, targeting the Council chambers with weapons. Tuned from stolen data, the Council died as one. The star weapon went silent. Across the galaxy, Dominion fleets faltered. Without genetic authority, their hierarchy collapsed. Some ships fled. Some surrendered. Some were hunted down by humans who no longer waited to be attacked. The war ended not with a treaty, but with a warning broadcast on every frequency the Dominion had ever used. We were prey once. Never again. Humanity did not claim the stars as rulers. They did not exterminate what remained of the Dominion. They watched them. They learned. They remembered, among the ruins of Earth. Humans rebuilt, not as innocents, but as survivors who understood the cost of existence. They carried scars in their bodies and in their history, and across the galaxy. Every species that learned of the war learned something else. There was a species that had been hunted since it learned to walk, a species that did not know how to surrender, a species that, when pushed to the edge of extinction, learned how to hunt the hunters. Humanity.